I've been seeing those lists of, like, 19 things I learned at 19, or 25 things I learned at 25, and so on and so on. And since last year I hit a milestone year, I figured this year, since I just turned 31, I would do a 30 things I learned at 30 list. Even though, yes, I realize having just turned 31, some of you are probably thinking, shouldn't you do 31 things? But I haven't learned 31 things at 31 yet because I've only just turned 31. However, having had the whole year of 30, I was able to compile a list of 30 things. So, deal with it. Basically. But yeah, some of these are open-ended and probably apply to everybody. Other ones are very, very specific to me personally. So, I mean, this is just what I compiled. It could have been a longer list, but I was just going with the first 30 I came up with. So anyway, yeah, I do have a list right here on my laptop, so I will be looking down as I read at it. Hopefully it's not too unbearably unwatchable for that, but yeah, so anyway, let me try and re-straighten this up. I've basically got my tripod wrapped around the top of my laptop, so I'm hoping it's not going to fall down. But yeah, anyway, so number 1, no matter how well you plan things out, nothing ever goes entirely to plan. Ever. But that's not always a bad thing. Number 2, jumping straight from ending one relationship and leaping into another one less than a month later might not have been the wisest thing I've ever done, but I don't regret for 1 second that I did that. Number 3, no one, not even famous people, are unreachable. Persistence pays off. And oh, how it has paid off for me. Number 4, when you stop relying on the approval of others and stop caring what anybody thinks of you, you'll find that life becomes a lot more fulfilling and that you'll feel all around a lot happier. Number 5, doctors work for you, not the other way around. They can't force you to undergo anything you don't want to, even if they try to strong-arm you into something. They legally can't force you into anything. All they can do is strongly advise you to make an informed decision. This realization made dealing with doctors so much less anxiety-provoking for me once I figured out they can't force you into anything. And as that realization that you can up and leave at any time and not come back and just choose a new doctor if you suddenly don't feel comfortable with them anymore, this was huge for me realizing this last year, and I am nowhere near as terrified as I used to be of them for it. Number 6. The Monkees are a band I'm apparently just incapable of forming coherent thoughts in front of any given member of the band. Even via Skype, I made just as big a fool of myself talking to Peter Tork as I did in front of the other 3 when I met each one of them in the past too, so not sure what it is about this particular band. I've never had this problem with any other celebrity I've met, but just them! Don't know why them, but every single time, man. All 4 of them. Doesn't seem to make much sense, but I always seem to forget how words work. Number 7. The measure of success doesn't always have to be measured by fame or fortune, or even by what other people view as successful. Sometimes the most successful things are when you think outside the box, toss what others think to the wind, and just do things your way. March to the beat of your own drum, and don't stop for anybody. It may not be as easy to carve out your own path in life, but you're a trailblazer, and everything once had to start with somebody deciding to do things differently their own way. Once you prove the naysayers wrong, the ensuing "I told you so" will be so much sweeter. Number 8. Everyone, yes, that includes you watching this, has the capacity to touch and change people's lives. You might not even realize you're doing it at the time. Like, I've actually received some incredibly touching comments from some of you guys about how even my videos have helped you through things in your own lives. So never doubt the fact that your very existence has the capacity to impact other people's lives for the better. Number 9, kind of the flip side of that, there's absolutely no reason whatsoever you should have to tolerate negative, toxic people in your life. There's 7 billion people on this planet. Trust me, you've got plenty of room to shut out toxic people and just replace them with people who enrich your life and make life worth living. It's not always easy to do it, but the sooner you close those chapters of your life, the sooner you can start writing the new ones. The most important part of this is to not let those toxic people back in, no matter how much they insist they've changed. Spoiler alert. They haven't. You'll spare yourself many headaches and heartaches by keeping that door firmly bolted shut. You're going to be amazed at how much better you feel once you've cut those people off once and for all. Number 10. Everything happens for a reason. Number 11. No matter how bad things seem, they'll eventually get better. Just keep breathing and keep taking things minute by minute. The darker things seem, the more important this is. Number 12. Wait, I scrolled past it. Whoops. Anyone who wants to change you or is unwilling to put up with certain facets of your personality or is embarrassed of you or tries to control what you say or do is not the sort of person you want to date, and definitely not the sort of person you should ever want to marry. Dump this person fast. Number 13. Your life is going to blossom and grow in directions that you never could have predicted, and that's a good thing. Embrace it. Number 14. Don't constantly try to stack yourself up or compare yourself to other people. There's always going to be somebody who's better at something or has more of something, etc., than you, and this will only set you up for disappointment and rob you of the joy for what you do have. Number 15. The realization that time passes very quickly and life is very short. In the grand scheme of all time, we're only on this planet for about a minute. I'm realizing more and more just how true it was whenever my grandma would lament that there's just never enough hours in the day to accomplish all the things she wanted to do. Number 16. As a teenager, I would stay up half the night all the time. Now, I regularly go to bed at 8 or 9 o'clock and had thought I was a loser for this, but I've recently found out just how many of my peers actually do exactly the same thing. Number 17. Growing apart from old friends is a natural part of life. Still hurts, but as long as you're continuing to make new connections, you'll find that things will be okay. Number 18. By 30, you begin to look around at your peers and you find that the people you've grown up with are getting married and they're having kids, and it seems like everybody other than you has things so figured out. But then when you stop and talk to those same people, it turns out they feel like they don't really know what they're doing with their life much more than you do. So once I realized that, I started feeling a little less inadequate about things. Number 19. Life is a learning process, and you actually never ever stop learning. Even if you don't realize you're learning, you are always learning. Number 20. You think you're weird? Literally everyone is weird in some way. Some people just hide it better than others. Number 21. Everyone in your life will disappoint you at some point or another, since everyone's just human. Learn to accept and cope with this with grace and move on. Number 22. Self-control with money is a good thing. But learning to invest that money into things that earn even more money is even better. Number 23. Not everybody in life is going to like you, and that's okay. There's plenty of people that don't like you, or that you don't like either. Number 24. Your parents usually are right, and they do know what they're talking about. Number 25. Asking for help does not make you weak. Sometimes it's the biggest sign of strength. Number 26. You are exactly where you're supposed to be. Number 27. If you don't believe in yourself, nobody else will either. But the opposite is also true. As soon as you start believing in yourself, others will follow suit. Number 28. You are literally always changing and evolving, even if you don't realize it yourself, even if you don't necessarily see it. This is basic human nature, scary though it may seem, and it's not a bad thing. Number 29. Learn to accept and let go of the things you cannot change. I know it sounds very AA prayer, but it's true. It's absolutely accurate. Just go with me on this one. And number 30. Creativity cannot be forced. It will ebb and flow on its own schedule. The less you stress over when it's not flowing, the sooner it's going to come back to you. And then just for the sake of bumping this up to technically 31, since I just turned 31, I did do an additional number 31. And that was turning 30 really wasn't the end of the world, nor do people look down on you for it like I, for some reason, was convinced they would. So that was my 30 things that I learned at 30 list. So anyway, if you guys want to, feel free to make your own with whatever age was your most recent birthday. I mean, for me it seemed logical to make this right at my birthday, except that was when I was skipping a bunch of days of making videos, so I didn't get it up that day. So next best thing, I figured I'll upload it on the 30th because a theme of 30s, right? I probably should have uploaded this actually on my birthday, but I didn't, so, oh well. But yeah, anyway, as usual, if you like this video, click the like button. If you're not already and you'd like to be, click subscribe, leave comments down below, and till next time.